All right, guys, we finally got together and we're doing 2 in a row. 2 weeks.
I hate you.
2 weeks.
Why am I here?
2 weeks.
I shouldn't be here. I just worked a 9-hour shift.
2 weeks. We're doing this 2 weeks in a row. We had SummerSlam last week, or preview SummerSlam last week, and now we're post SummerSlam, and we've got kind of a new Universal Champion for. He's still the longest reigning Universal Champion, by the way.
Technically, Vacant is, but
Someone who's a real person, he's the longest reigning champion. But let's quick rundown, SummerSlam.
what we know.
I mean, because we did a little watch party.
Yeah.
With some of my friends. You didn't really know any of them. But you missed Jericho and Enzo and Cass.
Yeah. Which
was good, even though I thought Enzo and Cass still should have gone over.
I was driving over here whenever I missed that because I slept till 5:45. I accidentally took
it was a good match, but you didn't miss much, to be honest. You didn't miss too much. Did you miss anything else?
Pre-show, but...
Well, obviously you missed the pre-show because you also missed the first match. But
yeah, I think I
Cesaro Sheamus was actually pretty good.
I don't remember. Did I walk in like right at the end of Jericho versus Enzo and Cass or near?
I don't remember. I know we watched the finish. Me, Jeff, and all them watched the finish.
Yeah.
I don't remember when exactly you came in. You may have came in like
I don't even remember what the second match was.
I think it was. No, when the tag titles match. It was something. Oh no! It was the women's title match.
Yeah, that's right.
You did see that.
Yeah, I did see that. Which that was an unexpected ending.
That was interesting. There's a lot of really good spots and a couple of really bad botched spots.
And she wasn't even on Raw. I just realized that.
No, she wasn't. She's hurt.
That sucks. 3 weeks into her title reign, she has to drop the title.
Apparently, I don't know if the back injury that she was selling is her legit injury, but they're saying a month tops. So she'll be back after Backlash, or not Backlash, but she'll be back around Clash of Champions.
Probably right in time for her rematch clause.
Yeah, which Foley said on Raw, she's getting a title shot when she gets back.
No matter who holds the title.
No matter who. Which we'll talk about that when we get to the Raw rundown.
Is that what we're calling it?
I made up that name the other day when I was just walking back from class. I was like, Raw rundown, a rundown, if you will.
I'm gonna leave if he makes another joke like that, just so you guys know.
But yeah, Charlotte shockingly went over, which it wasn't shocking after we found out what we found out. That everybody
at the time we were all thinking she's gonna kick out, and then 1, 2, she's gonna kick out 3.
It was kind of a weak pin too, as a roll up. Mind you, she reversed the bank statement into a roll up, but a roll up nonetheless. Which a roll up to win a title is usually lazy. But in this case, not that much.
It worked.
In hindsight, knowing what we know now, it's not that bad.
Because I remember whenever it happened, we were like, everyone in the room was looking for either like a double shoulder or like a foot on the ropes.
Like, no, half of us were looking at their shoulders. Half of us were looking at our phones to see what the hell, see if Sasha had been suspended. Because she had been removed up until September 23rd for house shows. Because that's 33 days, I think that's what they said. She's been removed for the last 33 days.
So we were all thinking she was suspended. So
no, she's just hurt.
Yeah.
Good news, she will not require surgery on whatever injury she has. Unlike somebody else we'll talk about later on.
I don't want to talk about it.
Basically, we're just going to talk about all the things on SummerSlam that I actually want to talk about because everything else is just kind of...
Can we talk about first, before we go on to the main events, how New Day surprisingly retained their titles?
I was going to talk about New Day next.
Okay, I didn't know if you were going to go to that next. I thought you were going to jump right to the Universal Championship stuff.
I mean, can we talk about the backstage segment with Finn in the club, though?
That was hilarious.
He was going to give him the too sweet. He's like, come on, Finn, too sweet me, bro, too sweet me. And he's like, nah, fam, I'm cool.
Did you say nah, fam?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm up with the kids nowadays. Hello, fellow kids.
We're 21. People still look at us as kids. I got carded twice.
Don't give me that shit. You got carded twice at a Stripes.
Yeah. I got carded twice buying Mike's Hard Lemonade. That is ridiculous. That is 3.2 alcohol percentage.
For those of you who don't know, Oklahoma is a bitch state when it comes to alcohol.
See, I didn't know that until I said something to, I think I was talking to Laura from the other store. And she was saying, like, yeah, y'all's alcohol percentage is really low. I'm like, what would that... She said that Mike Tried Lemonade would be like a 5 in Texas.
Yeah.
So, yeah, apparently Oklahoma's really a bitch state.
Yeah, like you said, New Day... They wouldn't say they went over because they won by they lost by disqualification. They did lose.
Yeah, they just retained the titles.
They did retain the titles.
And I thought they were going to have a match on Raw, and then they said, and I know we'll get to Raw, but I thought they were going to have a match on Raw for the titles, and they drop it there because that would be 365. But I think they're going to have them break Demolition's record.
That's what it's looking like because they're kind of hitting this resurgence now. Because New Day's they're kind of going down after the Wyatt feud. Everything's kind of calming down, and then boom, they're back.
For the time being, until they do,
because they're probably going to keep feuding with the club.
But see, okay,
what other tag team can they feud with unless they bring up the Revival?
I think, here's my theory on breaking up tag teams. With the New Day, you don't want to wait too long to where no one cares. Like with the Shield, that was they were at their prime when they broke them up. That is the way you do it. You don't let them get stagnant at all. You break them up while they're on top.
Here's the thing, though. The Shield had 3 main event players. The New Day, at most, has 1.5. I give Xavier Woods a half. Kofi Kingston is not a main event player.
He's an upper mid-card guy.
But that's the thing, is you want... Because I would also be expecting it a New Day triple threat. I'm not really buying that as much as I would a Shield triple threat.
I'd watch a New Day triple threat for.
I would, but I would want that to have some stakes.
Imagine
to it.
Xavier going over.
I could see it.
And him pinning Big E.
I think he's the most popular, honestly.
His finisher to me is just kind of weird. It's called Lost in the Woods, but which is an amazing name. But the finisher is I didn't watch back then, but it was some diva's finisher called Eat Defeat, where she it was a foot to the face. So it's called Eat Defeat. So it's that, but I forget how he does it. It looked weird to me last time I saw it. But then next, anything that we care about would have been the WWE Championship match.
That was so lackluster.
I don't know what happened there.
So much. They built it up so much.
That was the best build-up going into the show.
It was.
Because Ziggler Ambrose
cut that badass promo. Pretty much ran down Dean and then kicked him in the face.
Did he even super kick Dean?
I think he did. And Dean kicked out.
Yeah, it was 4 minutes in, and we were like, he's going to kick out of that. There was no way he's not going to kick out.
But the Dirty Deeds is so protected.
Yeah.
It's been reversed. It got reversed a couple times, but once he hit it, it was all over.
But see, I like having finishers like that just end it, like most RKOs, which we'll get to eventually.
Oh, I think about that. I'll talk about how much I don't like Brock Lesnar later.
Yeah. But yeah, the WWE Championship match was just kind of meh.
Can we talk about that one spot that we laughed at for 5 minutes where I think there was another super kick where it was on the outside where Dolph super kicked him onto the barricade and Dean sold it really late.
Yeah, he was I guess supposed to either go on top of the barricade or fly over it, but he didn't jump enough at first, and then he realized what he did, so he tried to go over it.
So
again.
It just made the sell look really late and really stupid.
Yeah, it was kind of a...
Can I say how much I like Dean playing the heel?
Yeah, it was awesome, but I feel
he's really fun.
He'd be a fun heel, but I still feel like Ziggler needs to turn heel.
I mean, Ziggler, character-wise, to me, for him to take him seriously, needs to be a heel. But Dean has kind of overplayed the babyface, and he's gone stale to me.
Yeah, and I want Dean to be...
And SmackDown doesn't have a lot of good heels. They have AJ.
Bray.
Is Bray really... People like Bray and The Undertaker don't necessarily... They kind of surpass face and heel.
Yeah, they kind of play whatever. They don't follow rules normally. But I think eventually... I think if you just look at it, eventually AJ has to go back to face. He's too much of a cash cow.
I mean, he's the face that runs the place now. We'll get to that later.
But I think we just skipped that match, actually, because that went on before the WWE Championship. I forgot about it, even though it was the best match on the card.
Oh, yeah. For some reason, I thought that went on after the WWE title match.
Yeah.
It should have.
Everyone was dead in that WWE title match because of AJ Cena's match. But I think eventually AJ has to go back to being face. Just because he was apparently rivaling Cena in merch. So Vince obviously sees that and that's Vince's big thing is money. So, as any good businessman. So, eventually I think he goes back to being face and they turn someone else heel and try to make them the top heel on SmackDown. It's either going to be Ambrose. I could see Ziggler being a top heel. He's Ziggler a good worker.
To me, Ziggler is past his main event prime. He wasted it by getting those 2 concussions.
I think with Ziggler right now, I think they're going to do the whole thing where he can't win the big one, and then finally he's going to... So a Benoit
angle.
Who?
Exactly.
But they're going to do this
the last person who couldn't win the big one killed his family. He got really frustrated at that.
Daniel Bryan?
Yeah. Except Daniel Bryan won it like 4 times.
But remember every time he got the WWE Championship, it kept getting taken away.
So Benoit never had it to begin with.
But anyway, I think they're going to do the whole can't win the big one and then finally does at like WrestleMania.
And they kind of did that with Dean Ambrose too. Dean Ambrose couldn't win the big one.
He was never put an opportunity to win the big one.
He kept losing to Seth and then losing to... Because you put him in the ladder match with Seth. He faced Seth like 4 times.
Yeah, I think I stopped watching there. That was the stretch of time.
And he faced Roman like, I think, once or twice when Roman had the belt. The first time Roman had the belt.
And then he faced Hunter at Roadblock.
At Roadblock.
I mean, Triple H. I don't know why I said Hunter.
I say Hunter.
But that was probably the best match at Roadblock was Triple H, Dean Ambrose.
Roadblock wasn't meant to be a blockbuster, bunch of WrestleMania moments going on, but...
Okay, that match at Roadblock was better than the WrestleMania main event we got.
I know. But that wasn't the plan.
But
I think Hunter thought that he could work Reigns into a 30-minute instant classic, but he couldn't. Hunter can't work himself into a 30-minute instant classic anymore.
But now we'll backtrack a bit because we skipped this match. The best match to me on the card was Cena AJ Styles. And that was a ridiculously good match.
Anybody who says John Cena can't put on good matches, watch this one and then watch the thing we do for main event later on. John Cena can put on excellent matches when he's put up against all like people who are also really good, like CM Punk or AJ Styles. But even Cena had barn burners with Sheamus, and Sheamus is awful.
Sheamus is actually a pretty decent in-ring worker. Kinda. He has a few moves.
He has 2. He used to have 3. He doesn't do the Irish Cross or Celtic Cross, whatever it was anymore. The Razor's Edge, basically.
Yeah. He does the backbreaker, the brogue kick. He does the... they finally gave it a name. I remember the name now. The 10-something...
Oh, the when he puts him on the ropes and hits him 10 times in the chest.
Which, like, okay, as a face, he was somehow super over. But as a heel, like, he doesn't do anything for me.
Sheamus has never really done anything. He did something for me when he first came in and put Cena through a table in his debut.
Honestly, I think what killed, like, all of Sheamus is, like, there were those fringe fans. But most of those fringe fans were also really big fans of Daniel Bryan. And the WrestleMania match was 18 seconds. And I think that's what killed it for a lot of people. I remember I didn't like Daniel Bryan at first because I didn't understand the concept of heels. So I hated Daniel Bryan. But now I go back and watch it, it's like, he was a terrific heel.
Daniel Bryan's really good at what he does. He's the best in the world at what he does.
But we kind of went off track for a second.
Why can't we just have a whole podcast where we talk about Sheamus?
No. But, yeah, I'm just going to forget you said that, by the way.
Sheamus special coming up.
But Cena Styles went on for a bit, and then he hit him with the Super AA from the top rope. And honestly, I thought it was over. I thought Cena was going over at that point. And AJ kicked out, and then Cena had this look of, like, disbelief on his face.
That face. Oh, my God. I've never seen Cena sell something so well.
Like, he just kind of looked at him in disbelief, like, how do I put this guy away?
That's the look that Triple H used to give Shawn Michaels back when they were doing their series.
When he kicked out of, like, 3 pedigrees in one match.
Like, during the Hell in a Cell match, which I think Triple H eventually went over in. Because Triple H pretty much won almost every match in that rivalry, now that I think about it. Like, Triple H, like, Shawn would kick out of, like, the 2nd or 3rd pedigree in the match, and Triple H would just be in the corner, like, with his hands up, like, near his face, like, what the hell do I have to do to put this guy away?
Or, like, whatever, in the Hell in a Cell where Shawn was a special guest referee, and he super kicked Taker into a pedigree, and Taker kicked out. Hunter and HBK were both like, how?
Those are my favorite moments, is, like, those usually only happen at, like, SummerSlam and WrestleMania, where something big will happen. So they'll do some big spot. Guy kicks out. Other guys in the other corner just with that look of disbelief. Those are my favorite moments.
But the match after the Super AA, and he's just staring at AJ like, how do I put him away? He puts him up on his shoulders again for another AA. He gets out of it, Styles Clash. And I'm thinking, like, that has to be it. But he doesn't go for the pin. He, like, rolls away and then goes to the outside. And he's going to try for the Phenomenal Forearm. And at this point, I'm thinking Cena's going to catch it. He's going to catch him into an AA because he hasn't done that spot yet. And he goes up, connects with the forearm. And, I think we were all in the room like, that's it. Like, Cena's going to lose. And then sure enough, gets the 3 count.
See, I told you that's how it was going to end. I'm pretty sure I said that in the last podcast. Was that because that's the way they ended SmackDown, or ended that segment on SmackDown, was with AJ with the Phenomenal Forearm out of nowhere.
But the normal...
And made him look really strong.
But the standing tall rule shows that...
That isn't always a thing. That's why I don't like Reddit.
Yeah.
Because they'll make up this kind of shit when maybe that's only 50% correct.
Yeah.
Or like 60% correct.
They still call it the standing tall rule, and it's good on sometimes.
I mean, it never worked for the club.
No.
Or, except for this time, it never worked for AJ Styles.
But that was a terrific match. Easily the best match on the card.
Let's talk about the match that has 2 of my favorite modern wrestlers in it. And Finn Balor in his demon persona versus Seth freaking Rollins.
And do I want to really talk about this match? It was a good match.
I love this match.
The match was amazing. Seth being afraid of the Demon King.
First off, can we talk about how they made the Universal title like out of Shinsuke Nakamura's jacket?
That Universal title is hideous. I don't care what anyone says.
It looks like they took Shinsuke's jacket or like his tights and like made a belt out of it.
It
would work really well with Shinsuke.
What they should have done is they should have essentially taken the women's title, put a black strap on it, and changed women's champion to Universal champion. I would have been cool with a red background and then make Dean switch to a black or a blue background on SmackDown. That would have looked really cool.
I think the belt should just look completely different. I don't like that they're going the whole UFC route where all the belts look similar.
Yeah, and I think that's why they're doing it is because UFC is like that.
But I liked it when all the belts looked different. Every belt looked different. You know, obviously the Divas title looked different from the women's title. The World Heavyweight Championship looked drastically different from the WWE title. Obviously, they still are, but the U.S. title and the Intercontinental title were different. Yeah. They still are. And both, at the time, World Tag Team titles and WWE Tag Team titles look different.
Well, they were like the same like plates, but
no, they weren't. They weren't even the same plates.
I thought they were.
They look completely different.
Well, that's not the case now. We'll get to that more later.
I actually like the new SmackDown tag titles.
I like them too. The silver does a lot better than the bronze.
It doesn't make you look like you were 3rd place. This time they're 2nd place.
I mean, gold would have been good, but
price of gold is high, man. Price of gold is high. That's why the WWE title doesn't even have that much gold on it.
It's mostly diamonds.
That's the economy we're in nowadays. Gold is more expensive than diamonds.
Okay, but anyway, back to the match. It was a terrific match. And then there was actually one moment which ended up being pretty freaking significant where, I don't know if I actually said anything to you, but whenever he did the turnbuckle powerbomb onto the barricade, it looked like he had hit wrong because like no one else had sold it like that before. And I was going to turn over to you, but I just thought I was being paranoid. I was like, I think Finn's hurt. But then
Finn's also a really good worker.
Yeah, that was also something. And then he got back up, which apparently off camera, he popped his shoulder back into place.
It was on camera. You see when he pulls his shoulder?
Yeah.
That's what he's doing. He's putting it back into socket. Because when he went down like this. So, for those of you who can't see,
it was my arm.
The shoulder, well, you know what I'm saying. I'm left-handed, so everything I do goes to the left hand. So, like, what you don't see, like, what I'm doing right now is that, like, I'm draping my arm over the chair. Your shoulder would have gone back.
Yeah.
So what he's doing is that his arm is right there between his legs, and he's pushing down.
Yeah, well,
so that's putting his shoulder back where it was.
Whenever he did the powerbomb, it looked like his shoulder got caught up on the barricade. And
that's
then
what
the rest of it. Then the rest of his body
his arm went over, and that pulled his shoulder. That torqued his shoulder too far back, and it popped out of place.
And at that moment, he tore his shoulder labrum, and
dislocated his shoulder.
And finished the match
after popping it back into place.
And obviously that helps them because the fact that he finished the match helps them build his character up stronger because he tore his shoulder labrum, dislocated his shoulder, and won. So that's what Graves kept saying on Monday Night Raw, is like he was still able to win. So he looks...
And still pulled off the 1916, which, mind you, he did it with the other arm, but still.
Yeah.
Or no, Rollins reversed it, but he did get him up for it.
Mm-hmm. I think he hit it at one point.
Did he hit it?
Yeah.
I just remember the one time he attempted it and it got reversed.
Yeah. So, obviously, Finn Balor...
But the thing is, that match was so overshadowed by the fact that the crowd didn't like the belt, and they made it very obvious, and it was really stupid because they weren't watching the freaking match. They were watching like a 4.5-star match right in front of them, and they were chanting, delete, delete, delete.
Okay, the delete chants are funny, but the fact that they like, I don't like the belt, but they were crapping on the belt.
My favorite one was, hey, we want a new belt.
I didn't hear that.
See, I didn't hear the delete one.
But the delete one was off camera. They were airing commercials for us, and they came down and unveiled the belt, and then they were chanting delete. I heard delete chants in the middle of the match, though.
Delete.
So,
oh my god, that's so funny. It was terrible. If you're at a WWE show, you should never try to hijack a match. That's just awful. Don't do that.
But Matt Hardy tweeted out because someone tweeted him a picture of the Universal title, and he said, is the women's title now broken? So, I guess we have that. So, that match was terrific. And then, obviously, the Demon King, Finn Balor, ends up winning. New Universal Champion.
And that still wasn't the main event.
It wasn't even the co-main event, technically.
Technically speaking, no. Because then we had Rusev v. Reigns, there was never an opening bell. Which, had that been a match, it would have been a really good match. Seeing how well everything went during that.
Why did this go on?
That freaking spear. That spear was savage.
Why did this go on after Cena, Styles, Ziggler, Ambrose, and Rollins?
Because Reigns is the real face that runs the place.
It wasn't a match. If you intended it to build storyline, it should have gone on before the actual matches.
But that spear was freaking savage.
That spear was amazing, mainly because Rusev jumped into it. But
it was savage. He sold it so well.
Well, I've never doubted Rusev as an in-ring worker. I've doubted Roman as an in-ring worker.
But Roman made it look... because Roman jumped into it too. Roman launched into it.
Here's the thing. Roman does 4 moves. He better do all 4 damn good.
Can I just say that the spear should never be a finisher?
Why?
Because even Goldberg didn't use it as a finisher. He used it to set up his finisher.
Edge used it.
Yes. And it didn't look good. It does not look like a good finisher.
Is the 1916 the Execution?
No, Execution is completely different.
Okay,
Execution is almost more like a spinning DDT.
Okay, I didn't watch Edge too much. All I know from Edge is that I used to confuse before I watched WWE. My friend watched, and he would play the WWE games, and I would always get Edge confused with Triple H.
The same person.
Well, hair.
They're the exact same
and
person.
PS2 graphics. So
they're the same person. Edge and Hunter, they're the same. One and the same. It's a different persona. His demon, if you will. Edge is Triple H's sex-obsessed demon.
But anyway, match never gets started between Rusev and the real face that runs the place. And then
we got a savage spear out of it.
We got
probably the best spear of his career.
And then Roman on Raw just kind of didn't care about the U.S. title anymore, which we'll get to that, but there's really not much else to say about Rusev Roman. There was a brawl that Rusev started.
It was a cool brawl.
I mean, it was a good brawl, but Rusev started it, Roman finished it. That's pretty much the end of that. And then the main event. The Viperville against...
versus Boring Brock.
Suplex City.
Boring Brock.
This match.
Why do people chant for him? Why do people, we want Brock, you're going to see the same match every time.
See, here's the thing. They're turning Heyman stale because it's the same promo every week. Comes out, he's the one in 22-1 now. He conquered the streak, eat, sleep, conquer, repeat.
He's the mayor of Suplex City.
The nightmare.
The nightmare of Suplex City. Sorry, Paul.
And
I call him Boring Brock.
And how many times over the past 4 weeks have you seen, you're never going to hit no RKO, and then he gets, which, okay, it was a cool moment.
It was a cool moment. It was probably one of the best moments of Randy's career recently.
But they overplayed it.
They did.
It was too much. It was an awesome.
They didn't even show the best angle, where it was actually the angle of Brock's face and Randy coming out of nowhere into the angle.
Yeah,
like into the shot.
So
they show it from the other cameraman's perspective, which is completely lame because you see Randy coming from a mile away. You see him jumping over the barricade.
How did Brock know to turn? Kayfabe wise.
Jim Cornette is rolling in his grave. That was another inside joke.
He's not dead.
Jim Cornette's rolling in his grave, and he's not even dead yet.
But the match goes on for a bit. It's pretty much just a domination.
It wasn't even like that. Oh, that was like an 8-minute match.
Yeah, Randy goes for
an RKO. It didn't take it very long to get outside the ring, though.
Randy went from RKO really, really early. You remember that?
Yeah.
Like, he went for an RKO super early, and Brock, like, shoved him off. And then they go to the outside. Lesnar gets put... But
there was only 7 suplexes? There was a guy with a sign.
It was 8.
8? Was it 8 suplexes? Mm-hmm. I guess I didn't see it after he put him through the table.
Because after they go outside the ring, Randy gets put through the first table. They try to go through the second.
The table no sells, like always. The second table always no sells.
The second table, Brock eats an RKO. And then somehow Randy ends up going through the second table. I don't remember the whole course of events that led up to that. But anyway, Randy ended up going through the second table. Which, by the way, I realized like halfway through that the ref was outside with them. When did they start changing match stipulations before it happened?
I just don't think the ref wants to make Brock mad.
Well,
otherwise he'll be boring all over him.
The Universal Championship match was advertised as a one-on-one normal match, and then they get there only by pinfall or submission.
At that point, I'm grabbing a chair.
It's a no DQ.
If I hear somebody say that, I'm grabbing the ring bell, I'm grabbing the belt, I'm grabbing Mick Foley.
Whatever.
I will throw Mick Foley at Seth Rollins.
You might want to get Cactus Jack instead of Mick Foley.
Bang bang.
Yeah, like it essentially turned into a street fight no disqualification match, and no weapons were used. And then
I will use Mick Foley as a weapon.
And then they go to the main event and they do the same thing. It turns into a no count out match, and it's just like, when did they start doing this? But anyway, Randy gets put through a second table. They end up back in the ring. Randy hits another RKO on Brock, and Brock actually kicks out, which is kind of expected, but also like he just ate two RKOs. That's kind of ridiculous. And then Randy goes for a punt, and Brock catches him with an F5. And then Brock gets on him in like the ground and pound position.
Wait, you forgot the one thing. Took the gloves off.
Yeah, he took the gloves off, which we thought was just going to be like, he's just going to get down and like start,
No, I thought he was just going to pick him up and F5 him again, because I thought that was just Brock getting frustrated.
Yeah. And then he gets down like the ground.
And then he got down and he was like, "I'm gonna be boring."
Now the first couple weren't real hits, but that
elbow.
The first hit wasn't real. That first elbow that came down, you can see it was full force.
That elbow, which, okay, here's my thing about it being a work. They don't do elbows in the UFC during ground and pounds.
Well, there was some stuff that I saw that Randy was told that Brock knew how to graze him and cut him open without actually hurting him.
Bullshit.
And Randy agreed to that. Randy did not agree to get fucking beat down for 30 seconds. That's why the ref didn't know what to do. Like, whenever the ref looked confused once Orton raised his head up when we saw the pool of blood. But here's the thing.
I think the blood was between Orton and Lesnar, because Vince is heavy no blood. Even back in 06, he was heavy no blood. Vince, no matter what, does not want blood.
It could have been Hunter involved too.
This had to have been between Orton and Lesnar. Orton's like, "Hey, cut me open."
But do you think, because they, like I said, they told Orton
shit
backstage,
like this happens all the time.
But they told Orton backstage he knew how to do it. So did Brock tell him that?
Brock probably might have told him that.
Because if Brock told him that, Brock straight up lied to his face.
Because here's the thing. I think that elbow was a shoot. Because, okay, we had Randy going off script with his no enhancements needed at Battleground. And then Orton also sandbagged him on most of those suplexes.
Yeah.
Which
definitely.
You don't do. I don't care what Brock has said or what he's done. Do not sandbag Brock Lesnar. Don't sandbag anybody.
Hardcore Holly did that.
I say Bob Holly should know better than anybody not to sandbag Brock Lesnar. Bob Holly almost died sandbagging Brock Lesnar.
Brock didn't even intend to do it either. He sandbagged him, but he wasn't expecting him to.
I mean, that wasn't on Brock. Brock was a lot better about stuff like that back then, back when he cared. Back when he wrestled more than 3 matches a year. I don't like Brock Lesnar. I hate Brock Lesnar.
It was cool whenever he came back, and
it was cool for the first 2 matches. I'm like, it's the same thing.
To me, it was cool even after like
after the second Cena match at SummerSlam, where Suplex City started. Mm-hmm. After that, it just got stale.
Yeah, the Suplex City thing was interesting.
The match is probably going to be about 15 minutes, and 10 minutes of it is going to be spent with him doing suplexes.
Yeah, the Suplex City thing is where it really got boring, for me, at least. Like, the first match with Suplex City was interesting because it was like, he just decimated John Cena. Like, no one does that. So, that was really interesting to me.
I'm joining the coalition that is the Piss Break Brock coalition, which during every single Brock Lesnar match, you get up and go to the bathroom. Or if you're at a live event, go to the merch table or do something else. And don't watch a Brock Lesnar match.
But the first time I noticed that this whole Brock thing was kind of stupid, besides the fact that Cena won his first match, was whenever Triple H went over as well. And then they had him beat Undertaker. Like, really? One, I feel like it should have, like, beating Undertaker should have gone to a younger dude. Like, that should have been saved for someone else to build momentum. Like, Brock didn't need it.
I was fine with it at the time.
But Brock didn't need it. Especially looking back on it now.
Well, no, looking back on it now, he did need it. Because the way they're trying to build him as this unstoppable force. How many matches has he lost since beating The Undertaker? Not a lot.
Are we counting him actually getting pinned? Because I don't think he's been pinned.
He hasn't been pinned. Because he did lose. Technically, he lost at WrestleMania. But Roman ate the pin. Mm-hmm. Brock didn't lose that match. He didn't
I think Brock lost his rematch. Because you remember they did.
Yeah, he did fight Seth. But other than that,
I don't remember that match.
How many pins has Brock eaten since being The Undertaker? 1?
Yeah.
In 3 years? 2 years? 2 years, 3 years? Mind you, he's only wrestled 5 matches since then.
But what was your before that moment? Because that moment kind of shocked us all. What would you have rated that match?
Which match? The
Orton Lesnar.
2 stars.
Out of 5, really?
Out of 5, 2 stars. It was bad. That match was bad.
It was just a bunch of suplexes and a couple RKOs.
And even
it was a walking meme.
Even during the suplexes, Randy was sandbagging him, so that they didn't look good.
Yeah, because Randy wasn't jumping into him like normal. Because that's what everyone.
But that does show you how strong Brock is. That he was able to suplex a sandbagging Randy Orton, who's still like Randy. He's skinny, but he's still like 240. Mm-hmm. He's like this. He's around. He's
6'6".
He's around the same weight as Cena.
He's a basketball player.
Yeah, because the reason he's so skinny is because he's 6'6".
Yeah.
The only reason Cena is as buff as he is because he's 6 foot, 6'1".
Yeah, I think he's like 6'1" or 6'2", something like that. No, I think Cena's like 6'4".
No, he's not that. He's not quite that tall. He's somewhere between 6'1" and 6'2". Because I remember us looking this up and us being actually surprised with actually how short he is.
Yeah.
Not short. He's not really short. He's taller than me, but he's not the same height as Randy Orton. We'll put it that way. Randy's tall. Randy's a tall bitch.
I accidentally looked up John Cena age.
Don't do that. He's really old.
39. He's 6'1".
Is he 39? I thought he was 37.
Nope, 39. And he's 6'1".
No, Jeff Hardy is 37.
Surprisingly.
Because I remember us looking at that because I wanted to see how old Jeff was as compared to all these other ones. He's younger than both AJ Styles because AJ Styles is also 39.
But Jeff
has taken more bumps than anyone else his age.
In a wrestling age, he's like 80.
That means Matt is also probably 39 because I think Matt is 2 years older than Jeff.
But anyway, what would you rate this pay-per-view?
Out of 5?
Yeah.
3.5.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. It was okay.
3.5.
If it wasn't for Cena Styles, I'd probably give it a 2.
You know what we didn't talk about?
What?
The pop that Nikki Bella got.
Oh, yeah.
Where we were right on That's Who Was Coming Back.
Yeah. Except for, I think my favorite part was all the memes we made.
It wasn't even memes. I was just...
I'm going to give you all the highlights of all the people I said were going to come back in that match. We're going to be the Sixth Diva.
Rhino.
Bill Goldberg.
China.
Sting.
I think I said Ultimate Warrior at one point.
Heath Slater. I said Lex Luger.
I think my favorite that I said was Randy Savage.
My favorite was Lex Luger. That seemed to be the theme of the night was Lex Luger jokes. Because
that must have started before I got there. Because
it did.
I have no idea what happened.
It started way before that because we were doing I can't remember what those quizzes are called, but like they're lists, and you like type in people, and I just kept saying Lex Luger. It was like name all the Elimination Chamber competitors, and I said Lex Luger. It started with me just randomly saying it and getting it right. I think it was like WrestleMania main events or something. I was like, Lex Luger. Oh, look, there's Lex Luger.
Okay, so that was into SummerSlam. Now, the next night we're heading into Monday Night Raw, and about 30 minutes before Raw goes on the air, there is a alert, tweet, breaking news, whatever you want to call it. Finn Balor is out for 6 months and will relinquish the WWE Universal title. If you say anything about that,
keep talking.
Oh, dang! But anyway, sorry, football games are on, but
I had to see that.
But there was an alert sent out that said Finn Balor had to relinquish the WWE Universal title, and I was just immediately like, "Are you kidding me? We waited how long to get Finn's debut, and we got a month of Finn."
Finn's been around for about 2 years now, year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
He was champion for almost a complete year.
And then
he was 296.
And then he was WWE Universal Champion for all of about 20 hours.
He didn't even make it the full 24. I don't think it was quite 20 because it was before Raw. Like it was about 30 minutes before Raw went on the air. So it might have been
I would say
18 hours because he would have won it at 9 o'clock because SummerSlam went off the air at
then make it 22.
I don't care.
you just
he still didn't hold it for 24 hours.
No, he did not hold it for 24 hours. And he had to relinquish the title.
But he is still the longest reigning
and
Universal
one
champ.
of the best heel moves I've ever seen. Balor is walking up the ramp, and Rollins' music hits.
That was good.
Seth Rollins comes out and does his stupid Rollins laugh.
Especially when I thought they were going to cut to commercial, and then you hear Rollins' music. I was like, this is better than commercials. Better than watching 3 hours of Papa John's commercials.
At least Peyton Manning isn't involved in many anymore. But then Balor and Rollins had a stare down, which was interesting to me. And Rollins thought he was going to be handed the Universal title.
He should have been.
And then go to your Raw recap so we can see everyone who came out, because I don't even remember.
I can tell you everybody who came out. Sammy was first.
And then
Owens. Then Jericho. Then Enzo and Cass. And Roman. And then Roman.
Yeah. And then Steph ended up announcing...
I thought they were going to give Enzo a match. I thought that would be good.
They were talking about a qualifying match, or the qualifying matches that were going to happen, and just kind of a random thing. I forget who came out first, but then Neville's music hit, and it was Neville, the man that the opening segment forgot.
Yeah. Well, I also forget Rusev was also involved in the...
Yeah.
He fought Cass. Which, but, God, yeah, because I usually watch Raw because I'm usually at my parents' house on Mondays, and I was watching with my dad, and I was like, he wasn't even in the opening segment.
Neither was Neville, though.
That's what I said. That's what I was talking about. Was Neville. Neville wasn't even in the opening segment. Mind you, it was still a pretty good match, but we started with Zayn v. Rollins,
and that was a terrific match.
That was a pay-per-view style match.
The only thing that I didn't it didn't feel very pay-per-view about it is that Zayn didn't hit a haluva kick at any point.
Oh, yeah. Which he hasn't in a while, it feels like.
I don't think he's hit one since... I didn't watch the pre-show. Did he hit one on the pre-show?
He might have. I
don't remember. They won.
We were screwing around a lot during the pre-show.
He probably hit one during the pre-show.
He probably did. But other than that, I can't remember. Did he hit... No, yeah, he hit one at Battleground, because I was like... That's probably one of my favorite moments recently, was him hitting that second haluva kick on Owens, and Owens falling into it and him grabbing Owens.
That's my match of the year right now.
It's my match of the year. It's
because after you watched it, you sent me. I was like, that was some Triple H HBK kind of shit.
It was. Well, that feud is very Triple H HBK-esque.
Yeah, it's best
not in a bad thing, not in a bad way, because that's probably one of my favorite feuds of all time is HBK and Triple H. That'll probably be one of our main event segments coming up.
I can't wait until they eventually form some sort of rip-off DX.
They join the club.
Oh no.
Zayn joins the club. Wouldn't that be the ultimate heel turn though? Kind of like the same thing I described on last week's where Finn does the 2-sweet at the end of WrestleMania.
The club gets taken in by Stephanie McMahon. McMahon officially turns heel again.
So the new authority?
Yeah, they're brought into the authority. And then Zayn and Owens take on the role of forming a D-Generation X-esque group, and they combat the authority with that.
That'd be more of an NWO thing. They'd form the new NWO.
The NWO?
The new World Order.
The ONWO.
The Owens World Order? The OWO.
The other New World Order. But What happened after that?
After that was Neville Owens.
I forgot how that actually ended.
Owens hit him with that new finisher, that overhead neck breaker.
Yeah, I actually didn't get to see that because for some reason I wasn't paying attention.
Cool. It's like a reverse F5. It's like an F5, but instead of them laying on their stomach on his shoulders, they're laying on his back.
Oh, he's did that before.
Yeah, and he actually holds onto their head instead of like slinging them around like a freaking doll.
But yeah, he's hit that before.
Also, no, he does fall with him because he holds him by the head.
Yeah,
he does fall with him. I also think the F5 would be more devastating if Brock didn't fall with him. If Brock just because he doesn't do anything to protect them now anyway. He used to be a lot better with that. Now he's just kind of slinging them and just falling down for the hell of it.
Yeah, if he just slung them, because it'd look more impactful if, like, I guess he used to do is, like, he'd sling them and, like, catch them and almost, like, DDT them.
That's almost what the F5 used to be. The F5 is almost pretty much what that overhead neck breaker was.
Yeah.
He would actually almost kind of hold on to them. Now he just slings them.
It'd be like a spinning RKO.
Yeah. Now he just fucking slings them across the ring and he falls down for no reason. Makes him look stupid, to be honest. More stupid than he already looks.
I wouldn't, Brock. If you're listening to this, I am not. Attack him.
Come at me, Brock. I'll fight you at WrestleMania.
Are you gonna get Conor McGregor to defend your honor?
Yes.
Since they're all a bunch of dweebs.
I'll get a proxy, like Shane McMahon should have done at WrestleMania. I'll get Shane McMahon to be my proxy to fight Brock Lesnar.
Shane's gonna need one after that segment on SmackDown.
God.
Which we'll get to that, but
we had a Big E
versus Carl Anderson.
Which was actually a pretty good match.
It was a good match for 3.5 minutes.
Usually don't get to see Carl Anderson in singles action.
Yeah. And it was an okay match, but it's still... The New Day have to drop the title soon. Are they going to just shatter Demolition's record?
They'll probably get to it and then like lose it right after.
Like Nikki did with passing Paige's... I mean, not Paige's...
Damn, dude.
Passing AJ Lee's record.
Paige is so good, she broke the record without even holding the title.
She's held the Divas title.
I know, but she didn't at that time.
But yeah, she passed AJ Lee's record, which the only reason they...
was just to remove her from the record books, pretty much.
Because, you know why? Because she married Punk. That is the only reason. She is... AJ, to me, was probably the best woman in ring worker that they've had since... Lita?
Probably, yeah. Which AJ was very Lita-esque, so...
Yeah.
Then we had... God damn, this Titus O'Neil. This was so bad. Why would they let him do this?
I'm not even going to comment on it.
It ended alright, like once he got through the beginning, all the stuttering at the beginning, then it got better. But the beginning was just so bad, I didn't want to listen to him anymore. And then Backlund comes down, tries to get him the freaking crossface chicken wing, even though he's 70 years old. And then
I thought he did it at first.
And then he takes a pretty good bump from a scoop slam from O'Neil.
I feel like he shouldn't have done that.
Where was Darren? Oh yeah, he did come out.
Yeah, he came
Why
out.
Didn't he come out with him?
Yeah, he came out and then ate a clash at the Titus. Which, by the way, one of the best names for a finisher in the WWE right now.
It really is. There was a Tom Phillips interview from Steph
where she said, "Oh yeah, there will be repercussions,"
and then fined him $500.
Oh god,
that's funny.
And then we had another Universal title.
See, this is what I'm going to be used to seeing for like the next 10 years. Big Cass with Enzo Amore
versus Rusev with Lana.
Which I love Cass.
Which I don't know who weighs more, Enzo or Lana. But yeah, not an incredible match. I think it ended by countout, right?
Yeah, because Rusev said screw it.
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense.
Well, he was hurt.
Oh yeah.
Remember, he was selling those ribs pretty good, and he was just like, screw it. He's already doing his champ.
I hope he starts crap talking on Finn Balor.
And so when Finn comes back, he takes down Rusev
and gets the U.S. title, and then goes after the Universal.
So he's like the new Seth Rollins, who's holding the main title.
So Rollins can continue. So he's a rip-off Seth Rollins thing. And then...
Oh, yeah, there was the... This is my favorite thing.
Okay, so the new, technically, women's champion, Charlotte, comes out and she, is boasting about her title reign, and Dana Brooke messes up the "You deserve it" clap. Because
I texted you about that.
It was supposed to be like, "You deserve it," clap, 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 clap. And she did "You deserve it," clap, 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 clap. Like, it was.
I was like, I texted you, she's so bad that she even botches claps.
I don't know how she's on the main roster.
They were desperate.
She was supposed to be with Emma, and then Emma got injured, and at that point they couldn't just send her back down to NXT or something.
When is Emma coming back? Does anybody
I don't know. She had back surgery or something.
Oh damn! Yeah, she's gonna be. When was that?
Whenever Dana Brooke debuted, right after Mania, I think. Remember?
So yeah,
they were feuding.
Oh yeah, she came out at Payback. That's what it was.
Yeah, because she was feuding with.
She was dressed up as Ric Flair at Payback.
She was feuding with Becky.
Yeah. But Charlotte's doing her whole "I'm a heel" promo, which was okay.
I'm Ric Flair's daughter. Hate me.
All of her promos are starting to sound alike.
Really bad.
And then you hear that wonderful car crash, and out comes Raw General Manager Mick Foley. Mick, I'm not Santa Claus. Don't book me for your Christmas parties, Foley.
But then he's still on Raw every year, dressed as
Santa. He's bound to do it again this year.
As Saint Mick.
I love it. I love Mick Foley. But he comes down, tells everybody, Sasha's hurt. She'll be back.
And we're here tonight in the great city of Brooklyn, New York.
Right here. Nope,
yeah.
Nope. Somebody else does that later. You know who.
Oh, yeah.
But, since, Sasha's gone, we need someone who can challenge for this women's title. And I have the hottest free agent.
No, hold on. Before you get to this, he said, we need someone to challenge for this women's title. Screw all those women that I drafted. Yeah. We're going to bring someone else in.
Who else is in the Raw Divas or Women's Division? I almost said Divas Division.
I was going to say Paige, but...
No.
She's currently suspended. There's Alicia Fox, right? Or is she on SmackDown?
Alicia Fox.
I don't...
Exactly. So you need to sign the hottest free agent.
The one-man band.
No, they talk about that on SmackDown.
Yeah.
But then you hear that cheerful dance music, and it's Bayley, my favorite person ever.
And then she comes out, and she's a huge Mick Foley.
I had a whole post on Twitter about how much I really like Bayley.
But she comes out, I text you, it's like, so Bayley's a Mick Foley mark, and you text me back, and you're like, we're all Foley marks. But
she did the Foley thing where it's like,
yeah.
Right here in Brooklyn, New York.
And then she has a match with Dana Brooke and ends up going over
and she squashes Dana
with the Bayley to Belly.
Still another good name for a finisher, Bayley to Belly. She should be Suplex City. Her finisher is actually a suplex.
It's always my favorite whenever they combine their name with the name of their finisher. Well, I mean, there are some other really good ones that don't have the name of the person, like Sweet Chin Music is a fucking terrific name. The Pedigree. I still think Rollins should add something different to the Pedigree and name it the Pedigree.
I just don't even think he should do the Pedigree. I think he should just have his own finisher.
He should do the Falcon's Arrow as his finisher. But he uses it.
Yeah.
He uses it as a finisher.
I don't know. I don't like top rope finishers that much.
But that's not a Falcon's Arrow.
Oh no, Falcon's Arrow. I'm thinking the Red Arrow.
Yeah, you're thinking also. He does the Phoenix Splash thing, whatever it's called.
Which one's the Red Arrow?
Never.
Or not the Red Arrow. The Falcon's Arrow.
He picks him up, and it's almost gonna be. It almost looks like a, I guess some sort of pile driver, but he slings him forward.
That's too dangerous. It has pile driver. It's too dangerous.
I said similar. He doesn't drop him on his
similar.
head. Oh my god. Okay, we'll watch it later.
That's dangerous.
And then match number 6, please.
I love this guy. This guy should be.
Yeah. I just completely skipped the Roman Reigns interview. It doesn't matter.
Nobody cares about this. Except for this one, to shut Chris Jericho's mouth tonight, or either the scarf or his fist.
So then we had Braun Strowman versus Johnny Knockout. And
what did Johnny Knockout like, Riley?
I'll get to that. But Byron is interviewing him in the ring and says, okay, he's already squashed, 3 people essentially. So why would you get in the ring with Braun Strowman? And he pauses for a minute. And I think all this stuff is just ad lib. I don't think they rehearsed this. And he goes, I like big, sweaty men. And It's just like, what? Like, it took me a minute to realize what he said, because I was just like, did they just allow that on TV?
I don't give a shit about your kids.
Stephanie McMahon was talking a few weeks ago how about they want to introduce
LGBT characters.
Yeah. So.
Well, he's the first one, or the second one technically, Darren Young.
Yeah, but it's not part of his character yet.
Not yet. But this guy likes big.
Backlund.
No, that's some fan fiction shit right there. That's some fan fiction.
I don't even know if the mic picked up what I said. It probably didn't because I said it so quietly.
You were just writing a Bob Backlund x Darren Young fan fiction right in front of me. No, he's gonna be with Johnny Knockout because Darren Young's a big sweaty man. And that's what
He's
Johnny.
not really that sweaty. That's Titus.
He really likes Titus. Titus is his favorite.
Okay, so then Braun Strowman squashes him. Really, nothing else to say there. And then,
the Dudleys.
Which, okay, let's all talk about...
This is so sad.
Who expected a swerve here? Because I definitely did. And I feel like I didn't, actually enjoy the moment because I was waiting for Bubba Ray to turn on Devon. Because they teased it so much. Which their contracts are legitimately up.
Their contracts are up, and it's an amicable split. They're not coming back.
As of right now.
They're probably not going to come back.
As of right now. Money is a very powerful tool.
You know what else is even more powerful? That travel schedule for two guys who are well over 40, almost 50.
So do you think Bully and Devon go back?
Maybe
I'm calling him Bully now.
He might come back. They might come back for when they get into the Hall of Fame.
I mean, do they go back to TNA?
No.
That's why I said Bully.
Maybe.
Well, do you know Velvet Sky? Did you know Velvet Sky is dating Bully Ray or Bubba Ray?
No.
How?
He's a charismatic dude. That Bubba Ray Dudley.
But anyway, she's still at TNA, and she has been teasing that they're going back, or at least Bully Ray is, because she said something about a Bully Ray #not PG or something like that. So.
Can we talk about how when they were talking about the TLC match, it was like Edge and Christian, the Hardys, delete.
That was
Bubba was expecting it too, because he put the mic down and put his hand up.
Well, that was Devon who was talking, because he said matches with Edge and Christian, and then he paused and he went and the Hardy Boys, and that got a big pop.
Delete.
Oh man, why couldn't we have gone to that Raw? We would have got to chant delete.
It's probably gonna be a common thing now, and pretty much up until this final deletion thing finally runs out. In 5 years.
Random thing. I saw something the other day. I think Jeff is now broken now.
Yeah, he is.
So he is no longer an obsolete mule?
Maybe he's a broken obsolete mule.
But Jeff has finally seen Matt's broken brilliance.
That doesn't make him less obsolete.
But he's now seen his broken brilliance.
He's just
I need to watch TNA.
I don't even have Pop. You have no excuse. You have Pop.
I keep forgetting to record it. It was on tonight, and I forgot to record it. Dang it.
After that, we have the last qualifier, Reigns versus Jericho, which is actually a really good match.
It was a good match, but oh my God, Super Reigns is back. It was a nice month break.
Did you think he was going to tap out?
No, but I thought after a super kick from Owens into a code breaker, and he's already had 3 finishers slapped onto him, he would have stayed down.
Oh.
I know he didn't tap to the code breaker, but that still is a ton of pain. So he should have, honestly, kayfabe-wise, he should have stayed down after that code breaker. But nope. Super Reigns is back. He picks up the victory over Jericho. And we essentially... Who's the Fatal 4-Way now? Big Cass, Rollins, Owens, and
Reigns.
Roman.
Right. Let's blow through SmackDown because I have a lot of other stuff I want to get to.
Yeah. SmackDown, first thing.
Okay, well, we had the first thing, which is the most important thing. We have SmackDown now has new tag titles and women's titles. Women's title, not titles. That'd be cool if there were multiple women's championships.
Tag teams.
There's not enough women for that right now. But we have the SmackDown tag titles and the SmackDown Women's Championship, which will both be decided in 2 weeks at Backlash.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Either way, really.
It's the 11th.
Really soon. Really soon, actually.
It's the first day of NFL opening season.
It is.
That is a horrible idea on WWE's.
That's gonna be a good day. That's going to be a good day.
Unless the Eagles lose to the Browns, and then I'm done. I won't even watch anything the rest of the day.
But we have a tag tournament that is going to involve American Alpha, the Hype Bros, Usos, Ascension, Breezango, and the Vaudevillains. For right now, we'll get to something else later on. And then the women will have a 6-pack challenge, the first ever women's 6-pack challenge. I was hoping it's going to be the first ever women's elimination chamber. Whip my dreams. It's going to have Carmella, Naomi, Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella, Natalya, and Alexa Bliss.
All right, I know you want to see an elimination chamber women match, but realistically, there are 3 good workers in that match right there. Experienced good workers, I'll say that.
Oh, you got Carmella's good.
Carmella's okay. Doesn't really have a character.
Naomi's good.
Lynch
Carmella got her character today.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Becky, Nikki's good. Natalya's good, and Alexa Bliss is getting there.
Nikki's getting there too. A few years ago, Nikki
is the most experienced person in this.
Natalya.
Well, in the WWE ring, Nikki Bella has been around longer than Natalya.
Really?
By 6 months, I think. They're really close. Either way, they've been in the WWE around the same amount of time.
I think my favorite thing from Nikki Bella recently is that her and Brie still pulled off Twin Magic after they came back and Nikki had surgery, and they still pulled off Twin Magic.
This one seems to have double the size breasts.
Double? No, it's triple at minimum. But yeah, 6-packs, women's challenge: Carmella, Naomi, Becky Lynch, Nikki, Natalya, and Alexa Bliss. And let's be real, if it's not Becky, we riot.
It's either going to be Becky or Nikki.
We just got a over 300-day reign with Nikki as Divas champ a year ago. Let's go with someone else.
But we had Becky versus Alexa Bliss, which Becky went over.
Surprisingly. Surprised the match ended cleanly.
Oh. I was like, what do you mean surprisingly?
No, surprised it was clean.
Usos versus the Ascension, which I would be cool with either of these two getting knocked out. I don't care about either of them.
And the Usos pick up victory.
Jimmy.
So they move on in the tournament.
Got another Kurt Hawkins promo.
The Kurt Hawkins thing. The vignettes are amazing. Oh, I also want to talk about something else on Raw. Did you hear during the New Day's promo how Big E, they were talking about, y'all been with us through the good times and the bad. And then Big E was like, yeah, those vignettes. So, yeah, that was pretty funny. I just had to mention that.
Orton does his thing, gets interrupted by Bray.
Which, Orton v. Bray, yes, please. That's going to be terrific, hopefully.
As long as Bray can win something, please.
As long as Orton's involved.
Bray wasn't even in the freaking SummerSlam at all. Didn't even appear.
I thought that's how Ziggler Ambrose is going to end. I thought he would come out and his finishing move. Sister Abigail, one of the two.
This is one of my favorite parts. Heath Slater asked Arn Anderson to be his partner, but Arn was offended that he wasn't his first choice. We were this close to getting an Arn Anderson return. It
was pretty funny to me that Heath Slater was like, I could be the Nature Boy and you could be Arn Anderson, and then it zooms out and it's legit Arn Anderson there. And I was watching with Kyle, and he didn't start laughing. He was looking over at me kind of funny because I started laughing. I was like, he was saying that he could be Arn. That's actually Arn Anderson. But Kyle's only been watching a month, so he didn't really get it yet.
Well, I've seen so many people call this one that Rhino was his partner. That Rhino was going to be his partner.
I knew it once he put once that hand hit his shoulder. I was like, is that Rhino?
I was like, there was only one person on this roster that would make sense, and it's Rhino. Because Rhino has teamed with the most random people in the past.
Either Rhino
I'm pretty sure he won tag titles with Chris Benoit at one point.
Where's Kane right now? Is he SmackDown or Raw?
I honestly don't know. Was he even drafted?
Yes.
I think he's on Raw. If I had to guess, he's on Raw. And this one wasn't a shock, but American Alpha goes over Breezango.
I was really hoping Breezango wasn't facing American Alpha first, because you knew let's be real. American Alpha or Slater Rhino are winning this.
I would love to see Slater Rhino win this.
But
they're not going to go over American Alpha, though.
No, American Alpha would have to get beaten in some sort of dirty fashion.
I don't know, maybe by... Oh, the Usos aren't going to win dirty. They're two-face.
Did all the heels just get eliminated?
I think so.
Never mind.
American Alpha's going to freaking win.
Rip the dream.
Oh, we didn't talk about the Dolph AJ drama that went on throughout the night.
Yeah, Kyle was kind of... Dolph was kind of acting heelish, because he kept like attacking AJ like from behind. Like he wasn't doing the normal face thing where like his music hits and then the heel gets in place. No, Dolph was just like, screw this. I'm attacking him.
A 20-minute match.
Yeah, that was a ridiculously good match too.
That's hardcore for a 2-hour show.
And then Ziggler hits the 3 count. Ziggler hits the zigzag, and
if he had the 3 count, we wouldn't be in this situation.
Still can't get the 3 count. And then Dolph misses a super kick. AJ kicks the ropes to low blow him. Styles clash, and that's the match. 1, 2, 3. So at Backlash, we have AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose.
Oh, we didn't talk about the ending of Cena Styles when Cena took off the headband, the Never Give Up headband
that he wears around his arm.
Yeah, and kissed it. His arm's fucking big enough for it, and just set it down in the ring.
And then he didn't show up on SmackDown. He has to go film American.
He's given up.
He was in the dark match.
He's given up.
He was in the dark match. He was there.
He's given up. Did he still have an armband?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Kayfabe.
Jim Cornette is dying right now. Like his
My
heart,
kayfabe.
Jim Cornette's heart has just exploded, and he's already rolling in his grave. They haven't even buried him yet.
Kyle actually came up with a good idea, like how AJ came out with the Cena wristband or armband, headband thing. He ended up throwing it down. But a really cool idea that Kyle had was that every time he wins a rivalry, he takes a souvenir.
So he's like Kid Flash.
Yeah. So like, okay, say he beats Dean. Takes Dean's jacket. He wears that jacket instead.
He takes his tank top.
I mean, I guess that souvenir would be the title. Never mind.
Look at this souvenir. I got the ultimate souvenir. So, look, Mom. Look at what I brought back from my match with Dean Ambrose.
But yeah, that's pretty much all that happened.
It was a pretty good SmackDown, though.
It was a really good SmackDown.
Compared to what we've been getting.
I think I put on Twitter that SmackDown... I think I originally said SmackDown had won every week since the draft, but I think they've won every week but that first week.
Raw won the first 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
To me, yeah.
Yeah.
Those first 2 Raws were amazing.
Yeah, because that second Raw we got, like, the first Balor Rollins in each other's faces.
Yeah.
And then the Raw right before SummerSlam, you had to show the demon. They cursed him. They cursed him on that.
Was his paint the exact same at SummerSlam?
No, he had a green tongue.
Oh yeah, that's right. Wasn't his back the same though?
Yeah.
Wasn't it still the eye? That's stupid. Usually it's the back that changes.
I don't think he's going to change his back as much because he did or especially not for that match because he did the whole Balor Demon King and the Balor has one eye.
Oh.
So, someone on Reddit was laughing because he was like, I was like taught these myths as like a little kid, so hearing Balor try to be like threatening with them is just kind of ridiculous.
Okay, I have a couple more little things on here. The Miz's shoot on Daniel Bryan, quote-unquote shoot, it wasn't an actual shoot. It was a work. On Talking Smack.
Well, let's just summarize the Miz's thing and say...
It was great.
It was amazing. But Daniel Bryan said like he doesn't like the way Miz wrestles. Which, by the way, in case you don't remember, this is a great coach versus protege storyline because on the god-awful NXT that they used to have...
the original NXT.
The Miz was Daniel Bryan's coach. But Daniel Bryan said he didn't like Miz's style of wrestling. And Miz essentially summed it up to, my style of wrestling didn't force me into an early retirement.
That was a mic drop moment for the Miz right there.
And it was like, oh my god, all right, that title's relevant now.
Instead of having Daniel walk off like he did, they should have had Miz, like, I don't know if I can't remember if he was wearing a headset or holding a mic. He should have just, like, thrown whatever, like the headset or whatever off and walked off. Like in a mic drop on Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan had a mic drop. He just set the mic down and walked away. Mic slam.
He was he flying headbutt the mic. Put the mic in the
honestly,
label lock.
Renee Young sold that the best because they cut to her and she had like this look of like, oh my god on her
Renee
face.
Young sells better than Roman Reigns.
Renee Young didn't know what was going to happen. That's how.
That she might not have. That's honestly something I would see happening. Is that Renee Young didn't actually know that the Miz was about to come down here and fucking run down Daniel Bryan.
Like it was probably just between Bryan and Miz.
Or probably.
I mean, I will give it to the Miz. He is technically here every week, and he's a great heel.
He's so good at what he does.
Someone said, like, well, why doesn't he do that kind of mic work out on the ring? It's like, because at that point, then he's going to get...
Because they already know you're watching SmackDown. They want you to watch Talking Smack.
No, the reason they don't do it is because...
also... Oh, we didn't talk about Carmella's heel turn.
Oh, yeah.
On Nikki Bella.
She also attacked her on...
She also attacked her on Talking Smack.
But, hold on, I want to go back to the Miz thing for a second, because someone asked on Reddit why they don't let Miz do that in the ring. And the reason is because then he would start to get call it smarky, the smarky pops. He would get cheered.
Yeah.
And they don't want that.
That's like Jericho. Every time Jericho leaves and comes back, he has new catchphrases too. Because if he started calling, Steph dirty, slut bag, hoe, whatever, he'd get
trash
cheered.
Bag. He
trash bag, hoe,
slut.
whatever.
You can't say slut on TV.
You could back then. Back in '99. The channel's gonna
get shut down because we just said slut.
You're a slut. But like if he did that, he'd get cheered. Also, why he doesn't do the line salt that much anymore.
They told him to stop that.
Well, they originally started because it got too over. That move got cheered. It's too cool. Or at least it was the first time he came back.
Yeah, but recently they just told him to stop because they don't like how dangerous it is.
It is pretty dangerous.
For him, mainly.
I'm surprised he hasn't broken his neck doing it.
Because Jericho is probably the safest in-ring worker. One of the safest in WWE history, if not the safest.
Speaking of Jericho, right after Randy v. Brock, Jericho didn't like the ending to that match. He had thought that Brock had gone completely off script and just attacked Orton for no reason. So he went to the gorilla position, which is right next to the curtain before you walk out to the ring, where that's where usually Vince sits, Hunter sits. I don't know if Hunter sits there during regular events, but I know that's where he sits during takeovers. But Jericho went there and he demanded answers from Creative and Hunter.
Was that legit? No,
and
it wasn't.
They wouldn't give him an answer.
It was he's one of the older wrestlers. It's not Hunter. It's not Vince. It's he's super involved backstage. But
Cena?
Michael Hayes?
Oh, Michael P.S. Hayes? Yeah, he's the head of Creative.
Oh, okay. Well, that was the dude he was trying to get answers from.
And they wouldn't give him a straight answer, and he goes, "That's bullshit." Well, the second he said, "That's bullshit," that happened to me when Brock Lesnar was walking by. And Lesnar, only hearing "that's bullshit," only gets the context of "that's bullshit," and Lesnar's kind of posting up on Jericho like, "What, you got a problem?" And Jericho, because he has fucking cojones the size of a goddamn Ford F-350, sponsored, #ad, was like, "Yeah, I got a problem." Was like in Brock's face and had to be broken up by Hunter and then broken up again by a 70-year-old man.
Who broke him up second time?
Vince.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder where Hayes was during all this, because Hayes is a big dude. Hayes is like six.
Hayes wanted to see it go down.
Hayes wanted to see Brock v. Jericho. But apparently,
let's go back and
because Randy was Jericho. There too. Randy was there getting checked out, and Randy was like, "Chris, it's cool. I knew what was going down." That's how we all kind of know it's a work now, because Randy pretty much told Jericho it's a work.
So, and then Randy had to get 10 staples, and Randy was still mocking Brock on SmackDown. He came out for his entrance and still did the little
I love that
fighter thing.
That's
so
cool.
I'm loving this new Randy that doesn't he gives a crap about wrestling but doesn't.
Apparently, a lot of the people backstage have said since he's gotten married to his newish wife, I think they've been married for like a year now, he's been a lot happier.
He's also got 2 more kids now.
Really?
I think she had kids.
Oh yeah, she did have kids. Yeah, you're right.
Dude, how freaky would that be? If you're a 10-year-old and say your parents had been divorced and your mom comes home, it's like, "Oh, I want you to meet my new boyfriend." It's Randy freaking Orton.
Do you think she played his theme song when he walked to the front door? And he did his taunt.
And then RKO'd one of the kids.
RKO'd one of the kids.
RKO'd the wife, or I guess his new wife.
Out of nowhere.
He has to RKO his wife every time he walks through the door.
And she sells it like a champ, man. She's getting really good at it.
But
it's not domestic violence because it's all fake.
But Jericho has been known to do crap like that, stick up for smaller people backstage, or not smaller.
Jericho doesn't care who he stands up against, too.
He fought Goldberg and won.
He went up against Goldberg.
The difference is I don't think Goldberg has wrestling background, and Brock would probably eat Jericho for breakfast.
But Goldberg's still a scary dude. Speaking of Goldberg, Brock has been running down Goldberg in every interview ever since for the last 2 months.
I don't want.
Do you want to see Goldberg v. Brock 2?
No, because of how one went. They don't need another one because Goldberg hasn't wrestled since then.
We talk about how Brock only knows like 4 moves. Goldberg only knows 2, and that's a spear and the jackhammer. They're not going to let him do the super kick anymore because he almost killed Bret Hart.
He retired Bret Hart.
Retired Bret Hart. Almost killed him. He had a stroke not too long after that.
So, no, I don't want to see Goldberg v. Brock, too, because someone's going to die.
Also, Goldberg is like 50 years old.
And hasn't wrestled since his last match with Brock.
Yeah. He's done a damn thing.
And Brock isn't exactly the safest worker.
He works really stiff.
So...
Really stiff. Stiff worker.
Especially last match. So, no, I don't want to see that.
Just a bit too stiff. Speaking of people being stiff, is Seth Rollins a dangerous worker?
I don't think he's a dangerous worker. I think he has a dangerous move.
I don't think that move is that dangerous.
It's now injured 2 people.
Okay.
Granted, Sting...
The flying headbutt killed a man. In a way.
Not technically. It damaged his brain to where he drove...
And they still didn't ban it because Daniel Bryan was allowed to use it.
Devon still uses it as well. But granted, he's going into his nuts, not his head.
Very soft, the testicles.
Are you sure?
Are you saying that Primo had a hard on?
Would you not if you were in the room with Bubba Ray and Devon?
Bubba, okay. I love you, but man.
Okay, but
those calves though.
I mentioned this to you in a text message. I don't care if he does the buckle power bomb in the ring, but if he can't get someone far enough, he shouldn't do it. Because obviously, like that was, I think it was more on Seth for not throwing Balor far enough. So Balor was like not really knowing what to do, and that's why he caught his arm. Because I think he was supposed to land like the center of his back.
That's also just a hard place to sell it.
Yeah, but maybe don't do that spot then. Maybe do it on the apron, which is the hardest part of the ring.
By the way, did you guys know the apron is the hardest part of the ring? Because JBL won't let you forget it.
Otunga said it the other night.
Also, Corey Graves used to do it all the time on NXT.
Also, can we get Otunga off commentary? I would rather have Booker back.
What kind of shucky ducky quack quack is that?
But apparently Bret Hart has been running down Seth really bad.
Bret Hart runs down everybody. I used to love Bret Hart. I don't care about Bret Hart anymore.
He's a little bit too critical.
He's a kind of a cranky old man.
He really is.
He's bitter because Goldberg kicked his head off.
He's probably also bitter because he...
I also follow that bitter Bret Twitter account.
I think Bret Hart might be the only person in the world who honestly believes he was the best wrestler in his time.
Probably.
Like, the only person that believes it himself. Like, if you ask Ric Flair, he says Shawn Michaels. If you ask Shawn Michaels...
He says Rick, yeah.
Yeah. So, I think Bret Hart is the only answer, like, who was the best wrestler of all time. Bret Hart is the only person that's actually going to say himself. Like, obviously, there are Bret Hart fans that are going to say Bret Hart was the best. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Bret Hart's the only one that's going to say Bret Hart.
Most everybody else isn't going to say themselves.
Yeah. I think almost everybody at this point says HBK, honestly.
I'm convinced that bitter Bret Twitter account is actually run by Bret Hart.
But yeah, he's been calling Seth a dangerous worker since he broke Cena's nose. With that running knee.
Even Cena admitted that like it wasn't that big of a deal.
Cena leans into stuff if he doesn't know how to sell it. Cena has admitted that.
Rollins if Cena doesn't know how to sell it, he'll legit take the bump.
Like Rollins was talking about that on Talk Is Jericho.
That's how you know you're gonna sell it right, is that by actually taking the move. You're guaranteed to sell it right that time.
If you go back there, because Stephen Amell talked about this, and his match with Stardust a few months ago, I don't remember where it was, but there was a spot where Stephen Amell did an enziguri to Stardust, and he legit kicked him in the head. And like, you know how normally, like Cody was talking about it, like how he'd just fall or you like do the front flip or whatever. Like you could see Stardust like is stunned for a second because he was like, I didn't expect to be hit that hard.
I love the way people sell enziguris.
And the ref was supposed to go over and ask Steven if he was okay. And the ref actually went and asked Cody because of how hard the kick was.
I love the way people sell enziguris because, especially Roman. Roman sold an enziguri pretty well against Rusev on Monday, where he just kind of went limp and just fell over. It was so good. That's probably the best sell of Roman's career, honestly, is the way he sells enziguris.
I want to see someone sell like a super kick and not like fall back, just like collapse.
Oh, so Ric Flair.
I guess. But he'd also blade in the process.
Ric Flair usually doesn't even have to blade. Usually Ric Flair just bleeds
because he's bladed
if I do that to Ric Flair, he's going to bleed.
Because he's bladed so much, his entire face is just soft tissue.
Y'all couldn't see that, but I pushed him on the head slightly.
But it's like, okay, and this is UFC, but Kyle was talking about Nate Diaz. He has a bunch of soft tissue around his face, so he's super easy to cut open. That's the problem with Ric Flair now, is his entire face is soft tissue, so he's going to cut easily. But what's next?
With John Cena being on his way out and AJ being 39, who is the next face who runs the place?
I'm trying to think of someone who's like stupid young. Because there's...
Shinsuke is 30, I believe.
Shinsuke's 30, but I would...
Finn Balor is 35.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking.
Samoa Joe is also around 35, 36.
Samoa Joe's like 38.
He's really old.
And Rude is like 38.
Rude is 39.
So...
Sammy is 30, I believe. KO is 31.
So probably Sammy or KO.
What if it was Big Cass? Big Cass is only like 30. Like, not even... I don't think he's 30 yet.
It's Enzo.
It's Enzo. Enzo is the next face who runs the place.
Rhino.
I mean, really, Seth is only 32.
Yeah, it could be Seth or Dean.
Really, all three of the Shield guys are really young. They're all in their early 30s. If they're even in their early 30s. Roman might be really young because he started later than everybody else. It wouldn't surprise me if Roman was only like 28 or 29. You know Bayley's only 27.
Jesus, really?
Bayley is really young. Last time I checked, she might be like 28 or 29 now. I remember the last time I looked it up, she was like 27. She's really young. Which I think that's about the same age John Cena was when he debuted. John Cena was like 27-ish.
Dean Ambrose is 30. Roman Reigns is 31. Seth Rollins is 30.
Roman's the oldest?
Yeah.
Wow. That's actually surprising.
Dolph is 36.
Yeah, Dolph is actually pretty old.
Owens is 32. Bray Wyatt's 29.
Oh! Next face who runs the place right there, Bray Wyatt.
Sheamus is 38.
So I think Bo Dallas is actually his younger brother. So
Rusev is 30. Renee Young is 30. That's kind of surprising.
Ooh.
Cesaro is 35.
Yes, Cesaro's really old.
Yeah, I kind of look at so many. It won't let me go past that. I had Big Show, but obviously he's not going to be the next face who runs the place. Please no.
He's retiring after Mania, apparently. I don't want Shaq to be his retirement match. Come on now.
Too late.
Give the Big Show something, because obviously you have to go out on your back. That's the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way the Dudleys are going out. It's the way the Undertaker's going to go out. More than likely. Austin went out
on his neck.
Yeah, he did. Austin went out on his back. Michaels went out on his back. Flair went out on his back. The Rock didn't, but technically The Rock isn't retired.
Taker should.
Well, I guess The Rock did kind of. If Cena is his last match, he did lose to Cena.
He's had a match since then.
Oh, he fought CM Punk. That's right.
No, we didn't. That wasn't as much. He fought Eric Rowan.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. He should have lost Eric Rowan.
That was an official WrestleMania match.
He should have lost Eric Rowan. Put Rowan over. Rowan is the new face that runs the place.
Okay.
It would have to be one of the Shield guys. Almost. They're young.
Dean or Seth?
They're young.
Dean and Seth are going to go into the next John Cena, Randy Orton-esque spots.
Yeah. I always thought that...
or Roman, if they can actually get him over.
That Seth would always be that he'd be the Triple H to Dean's John Cena. Where Triple H would never hold the title all that much, but he would always be that thorn in Dean's side. Or the other way around.
So you're essentially saying Roman is The Rock, Dean is Stone Cold, and Seth is
very much Stone Cold.
And Seth is Triple H.
Yeah.
So they're the big three.
We have a big three.
So who would have been...
Except these big three were once in a team together.
Okay, so here's the thing. John, Randy, and who? Who was their third?
John, Randy, probably still Triple H, honestly.
Yeah.
Hunter didn't really stop being full time until like 2010.
You could argue Punk.
2011. Yeah, it could be Punk.
You could argue Punk because he was kind of that. He didn't hold the title a whole lot.
That third spot always seemed to revolve around a lot of people. It was Jeff for a little bit, Jeff for a couple months, Punk.
But they couldn't trust Jeff.
They couldn't, and it would be Triple H. Or even for a little bit leading up to WrestleMania 23 was Shawn Michaels. Mm-hmm. Except Shawn never actually got to hold the title.
So would you say I think honestly the top three spots kind of always rotated because at one point it was Brett, Stone Cold, and Shawn.
Yeah.
But Stone Cold seems to be
there a lot. Then Austin wasn't really in there. Austin was always on the outside looking in. Austin didn't win his first title until Brett had already been out of the company for a year. Shawn was on his way out of the company. Because he was having back surgery the night right after WrestleMania 14, and honestly didn't plan on coming back.
Who was it in Hogan's era? Hogan, Warrior, Savage?
It probably would have been Hogan, Savage, Sheik.
Really? I never watched Sheik.
No. If we're talking, are we talking early 90s or mid 80s?
Hogan Prime.
That's still Hogan Prime, mid 80s to late early
really?
90s.
Oh, we'll go early 90s.
Early 90s would have been Hogan, Savage, probably not Warrior, because I think Warrior only held it once.
Steamboat?
No, I don't think Steamboat even win the world title. I don't think he did. It probably would have been Hogan, Savage, DiBiase. Or it swapped between DiBiase and Warrior.
Sure, I think someone else who held it. Yokozuna?
Luger.
All right.
Except Luger came in to replace Hogan. So
we got way off track of
Luger.
Who was the next face who runs the place?
Lex Luger.
What do you mean John Cena on his way out?
That's totally what that was. You cannot tell me that was Cena handing the torch to AJ.
It was, but that doesn't mean Cena's retired.
But he's on his way out of being the top guy.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's what I'm meaning. I'm not saying he's fucking leaving.
Well, for right now, because he's at 15.
Well, yeah, he's probably going to win one more.
I think he wins 2 more. So he can have the record rather than just tie.
If Cena doesn't get cheered when he wins 16, I'm going to be very disappointed in the fans. That's a huge deal. And if they boo Cena during that, I'm going to be very disappointed in the WWE Universe.
If he takes it off AJ, that he's going to get booed.
No.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
If he takes it off AJ, he's going to get booed. They have to put it on someone they don't like. They're going to take it off Roman. They're going to trade Cena to Raw. Roman's going to win the Universal title. And Cena's going to get his 16th world title off Roman.
And then somebody's going to cash in Money in the Bank, take it back from Cena.
Cena's going to win his rematch clause. 17.
Half-Life 3 confirmed. That was another thing that Jacob said. That was the 6th woman was Half-Life 3. I said Gabe Newell was going to walk down the ramp.
Okay.
I think my funniest one was Brock Lesnar because he was going to suplex all 5 women.
All right, so we'll move on from that
to the main event.
Is that really what we're calling this?
Yes, where we take a classic match. Classic. I didn't say good. This one was good. The first couple. The first couple are probably gonna be really good, but this week, this time around, we're doing CM Punk versus John Cena, Money in the Bank 2011, which is the only recent WWE match to receive a 5-star rating from Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer, which is like the scale of like how good a wrestling match was.
With 5 being the max.
5 being the max. This got 5 out of 5. It's the only recent. I couldn't tell you the last WWE match that got a 5-star.
I think there's only 2 in WWE, and that's Cena, Punk at Money in the Bank, and WrestleMania 14, Stone Cold, Bret Hart.
That's 13.
Either way, yes.
It's 14. I would say, you said WrestleMania 14, I was like, I know he did not give Shawn Michaels, Steve Austin 5 stars. So that match was not very good because HBK couldn't take a lot of bumps.
Yeah, HBK was kind of... I've heard that, like, backstage, HBK was kind of a dick about that match.
He's a huge dick.
Apparently he was a huge dick.
He was a huge dick about the WrestleMania 13 match because he was originally going to, I guess, job out to Brett, and he didn't want to do it. So that's when he lost his smile.
Well, Brett didn't want to job out to him, so why would he...
No, nobody wanted to job out to anybody back then. I mean, Brett did take the hit at WrestleMania 12? 11?
And
in the Iron Man match?
He was willing to drop it the night after Survivor Series. Did you know that?
Yeah, but they were afraid that he would go back on his word and show up on Nitro with the belt.
I would have.
You know how horrible that would have been had Brett shown up on Nitro with the WWE title?
I would have done it.
That would have been devastating.
Given the opportunity, I would have done it.
The WWE might not exist right now if Bret Hart had shown up on Nitro with the title.
And then defended it over there?
Yeah. Which is what Punk should have done after winning this match. He should have jumped over to ROH. They should have had him go over to ROH or New Japan and defend the title. Defend the title in air quotes.
Obviously never lose it.
He would win. Unless he lost to like... I could see him like losing to like Johnny Mundo, who is John Morrison, and then John Morrison coming back. That'd be a way to bring back John Morrison.
That would be pretty funny if like... Because all the promos would be like, this would be my chance to get into the WWE. And then they'd lose.
Well, let's talk about it. Talk about from... First of all, I think it was kind of weird that CM Punk got to come out first. This is his crowd. Even though he's not the champion traditionally comes out second.
Yeah, but with as much Cena got booed, can you imagine how much he would have been booed had he come out first?
Exactly, and everybody's
they
like,
might have killed someone.
Now they're just waiting on Punk. They're waiting on Punk. They're chanting. That's the loudest CM Punk chant you'll ever hear.
I will say it was really weird for me because I started watching. I guess I started watching like soon after he came back. Like, he had like the 8 days. Because the first episode I watched, Del Rio was champion. So it would have been right after that Summer of Punk and right before he won it back.
You're saying he was WWE champ?
Del Rio was.
No, that wouldn't have been right. Because the night after they did the tournament and Rey Mysterio became champ. And then he jobbed out to John Cena and John Cena became champ.
Yeah, but, okay. I don't mean like it was directly after. So obviously Rey Mysterio won the tournament and then Cena won it. And then Punk came back and they fought and Punk won. Del Rio cashed in.
That match was also a really good match.
But Del Rio cashed in, won the title. Then I started watching.
I don't know. Del Rio, I like Del Rio as champ.
I didn't, but that was my first time watching. I didn't like heels still.
But let's get back to CM Punk. His music hits. It's still that that Kill Switch Engage song.
That's what I was going to go into. Because I started watching after. It's still weird for me to not
hear Cult of Personality.
Yeah,
I'll always remember that.
I was waiting for the mic drop sound or the mic static, and then all of a sudden it hits that music. I'm like, oh. See, then I'm expecting like long-haired Punk to come out.
Well, I was like, that song always seemed to fit with his entrance more for some reason. Like,
yeah.
That like really heavy metal song.
Yeah, but Cult of Personality really fit.
It fit him. It fit him as the person.
Yeah.
Then because like his entrance was like Undertaker types of long, not long getting down the ramp, but he got in the ring, walked around for a little bit, his arms up, embracing this hometown crowd. It's like, what was it, like 16,000 people, 18,000. I remember it was 18,000 people, all chanting his name.
Now, is that what the announcers were saying? Because they tend to inflate that number.
Not for those kind of pay-per-views. They inflate for WrestleMania all the time. There's no way they fit 100,000 people at AT&T Stadium.
Especially not with all that, like, taped off and everything.
But Punk comes out, huge ovation, people chanting his name, 18,000 people, CM Punk, CM Punk, which they still do today, which is annoying as fuck.
At this point, yes, he's been gone for 4 years. Get over it.
Get the fuck over it.
He'll come back eventually, maybe.
It hasn't been quite 4 years, it's been like 2 years. But
you sure?
He walked out before WrestleMania 30. WrestleMania 30 was in 2013 or 2014.
So it's been 3 years.
It's been 3 years. But he like walks around the ring, gets out of the ring, goes and hugs. It's not his mom.
It's his sister, the girl he considers his sister?
Yeah, it's her mom. So it's like his kind of mom, pretty much his mom.
The girl who raised him, essentially.
And like he gets in the ring, finally takes off his shirt. He didn't even take off his shirt until like 10 minutes into his entrance.
Which, speaking of...
Sits down in the ring, gets back up, does it again.
Every time I see Punk shirtless, I have this thought. How can someone be so fit but so fat at the same time?
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like, he has that edge body type. It's like, he had
Chris Jericho has a dad bod.
He's like, no, Punk had like a skinny dad bod. It was weird. It's still weird for me to see it. And anyway, I'm done talking about Punk being shirtless. But anyway, yeah.
I'm not. I'll talk about Punk being shirtless all day.
So he throws the shirt into the crowd as always, and then he just sits in the ring.
But he gets back up.
And walks around a little bit more, and then sits in the ring. And then finally, Cena's music hits. Chorus of boos.
Even now, I don't think I've ever heard John Cena get booed that loud. And this is kind of before everybody started booing. Before it became cool to boo Cena.
No, they've been booing Cena for a while, though.
This was around the time they started it.
Someone said...
It was still kind of...
I saw on Reddit they started booing Cena like 2006, 2007.
No, dude, people loved Cena back then. Cena was a big deal back then. That started happening around like late 2010. And even then, there were still more Let's Go Cenas than there were Cena Sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, there was still that guy in the front row, which I'll always remember the black guy in the front row with the We Hate Cena shirt.
That Cena always takes the pictures with.
Yeah.
Like, anytime they go to an event where this guy is, Cena will always get a picture with him.
But then we finally get into the match. The match at the beginning is slow as hell.
Just a bunch of holds.
Which this doesn't make any sense. The crowd shouting, "You can't wrestle." He's clearly wrestling.
But my favorite part is, "You can't wrestle," and then they like Punk points at himself and he's like, "Me or him?" And then they like He goes like me, and they all cheer, and then they point at Cena, or he points at Cena, and they all boo, and he's like, "Oh, okay." So.
But then we start getting into like the actual moves, like Punk's actually going for the head kick pretty early on.
Yeah.
Cena tried to get him up for an AA pretty early.
Super early on. And I think Punk tried to get him up for a GTS pretty early on as well.
He also tried to do a knee into a bulldog pretty early on.
Yeah.
But he missed.
But they go back and forth for probably a good 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay, I kind of have an issue with Cena. Because you know how it's kind of a thing that Cena doesn't sell injuries?
Yeah.
Okay, he hurts his knee early on in the match. Right?
Yeah.
He sells it for almost half the match. Where is it later on? He completely forgets about it.
That's his healing factor.
That's his healing factor. But still.
Dude came back from like a torn pectoral in like 4 months. You think a knee twist is going to keep him out for longer than 20 minutes?
But like he doesn't sell it at all. In fact, hits 2 AAs with this injured knee.
3
AAs. Has him up for like 5.
That was another moment where like Cena hit the 3rd AA and he kicked out, and Cena's just like, what do I do?
There was another thing we found, like Punk did a suicide dive back when it was cool to do suicide dives.
Prescott just exchanged jerseys with Boykin.
That is my dream.
Sorry, watching the game in the background.
That's my dream right there. But Punk was doing suicide dives back when only like 3 people were doing suicide dives. Now freaking everybody does suicide dives. Dean does like 3 a match. It's annoying.
And JR was talking about that. He's like, JR said it's unnecessary. There's too many risks. Sasha has nearly killed herself like 3 times.
Because they do that. Her and Bayley both do that Frankensteiner. That reverse Frankensteiner.
Yeah, no, I'm not even talking about that, which that's stupid dangerous as well. But Sasha, you remember, like, I think in the match where she won the women's title, she almost landed on her, or she did land on her head.
She's landed on her head more times than I think
Big E nearly
else.
Killed himself or paralyzed himself.
Oh my God, I remember seeing that. Like, the angle was so perfect. He hit the wall, and you could like see his whole body go from, because he's probably like what, 6'2"? He's kind of a taller dude. He squashed down to probably about 5'4".
Yeah, so that was terrifying. But anyway, back to the match. They go on, and then it's a terrific match all the way through.
I mean, it got 5 stars for a reason.
Yeah, I think the Cena kick out of 2 GTS or 1 GTS.
He kicks out of 1 GTS because I remember the second one puts him away.
Yeah, he kicked out of 1 GTS. And
spoilers.
Obviously, he gets out of the Anaconda Vice. Punk gets out of the STF like 3 times. Punk was booked like super strong in this match.
I remember I thought that 3rd STF was it. When he picks him up, when he breaks the hole and then pulls him back to the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
Usually that's a sign that it's all over. Because usually when Jericho would have somebody in the walls and they'd get really close and he'd pull him back to the middle of the ring, that was usually it.
And then Michael Cole says, says, we've hit the 30
We got a 5-star match, Michael.
And then he says, we've hit the 30-minute mark, and you see Vince and...
It's almost like it was planned. It's almost like it was predetermined that at 30 minutes, Vince McMahon would come out.
Vince and John Laryngitis make their way down to the ring, and he's telling John Laryngitis to go ring the bell. So Laurinaitis goes to do that, and Cena rolls out of the ring and punches the hell out of him. Laurinaitis sold that perfectly. And then he walks to the ramp, and he's like telling Vince, like, not like that.
Not like this.
He's like, I'm going to win. And then he gets in the ring, eats a GTS.
And he eats a GTS. It's all over. Crowd explodes.
Vince walks over and gets on the headset, and he's like, cut that music, cut the music.
Get Alberto out here.
Del Rio comes down. He takes a kick to the head. He's done.
I remember there are at least 3 snapshot moments in that match. The first one's when he first pins Cena, and he's holding up the belt, and he's cheesing so hard at Vince. The second one is when he's leaving. He's going over the barricade, going into the crowd. Looks over Vince, blows him a kiss.
Yeah.
It's so good. And at the very end, it's the last shot of the pay-per-view. He's holding up the belt at the very top of the stairs. He's going out the exit. Like where fans would exit.
Isn't there like some sort of backstage video where he like legitimately like gets out of the arena, gets in a car, and leaves?
Yeah, like I think it was like a WWE.com exclusive where like he leaves and like goes like into the parking lot, gets into a car and leaves. Like he leaves like a fan. #relatable.
So, well, how many stars did you give that?
I'd give it 5 stars.
I give it 7.
It's my favorite match ever.
That was actually a really freaking good match.
For next time, I already have one set out. We have Backlash coming up.
Are you going to make me watch a Backlash match?
I am.
Is that a good one?
It is. It's a very good one. It's one of my favorites. It's not the one you think. It's not the triple threat, but it's from the same year. We're going to watch Cactus Jack versus Randy Orton at Backlash 2004.
Oh, Legend Killer Randy.
This match is so good. I used to have this. I probably still do somewhere. I have Backlash 2004 on DVD, and I would watch it just for that match.
What did you get from Dave Meltzer?
I don't remember.
We'll look it up.
I'll look it up before next week.
Anyway, we've gone an hour and a half.
Yeah, we went a little long on SummerSlam. I didn't expect us to go that long.
Yeah, you said a quick recap. I knew we weren't going to be able to quickly recap that.
Well, because we forgot a lot of stuff.
Yeah. But you're closing.
All right, so next week, main event, Randy Orton versus Cactus Jack. Not Mick Foley. Don't let that confuse you. It's not Mick Foley. He fought Cactus Jack. Backlash 2004. Watch that match with us. We'll discuss it next time we come around.